Good afternoon to our FirstHealth family and members of our community, and thank you for joining us as we honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Honoring Dr. King is one way that we continue the ongoing fight for equality. Our culture here at FirstHealth is guided by our core purpose to care for people. And I'm very excited and you will get to hear and see more of that culture in action today. Thanks again for joining us. I'd like to introduce FirstHealth's Chief Diversity and Equity Officer, Dr. Sharon Harrell.
Serving in the dual roles of Dental Director and Chief Diversity Officer for FirstHealth of the Carolinas gives me double the opportunity to share just how much FirstHealth cares for people. As we celebrate the life and legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was an advocate for all people, my goal, like his, is to promote a culture of inclusion and belonging so that each and every FirstHealth employee feels empowered to give the absolute best care to our patients day after day. One of the first steps that Mickey asked me to take was to establish an inclusion council. Our FirstHealth Inclusion Council is comprised of 23 persons of a variety of diverse backgrounds in various departments throughout all of FirstHealth, and include physicians, managers, clinicians, and frontline staff. I'd like to take the opportunity now to introduce to you one of the members of our Inclusion Council, Tessie Taylor, who is a longtime employee of FirstHealth, 22 years, and she currently works in information systems. A large part of inclusion is sharing stories of lived experiences. Those stories are often compelling, gripping, and always impactful. Please listen now as Tessie Taylor shares her lived experiences during a pivotal time in our nation's history.
I was an excited 15-year-old getting ready to go into my junior year of high school. Traveling to anywhere was exciting, especially in the summer. Did I have any idea of the magnitude of what I was going to see? I did not. All I knew was I was excited. We were going to Washington, and it was another trip. We were going to be there, a day trip actually, go down in the morning and come back late at night. Just excited about just going to Washington. At FirstHealth, I think what it has done is given me a sense of self-validation, if you will. The things that he taught over the years, the things that he stood for, he and others, the sacrifices that they made, my grandmother's insistence to us that, you know, you're not any worse than they are. You're as smart as they are. Some people just don't want you to realize it. Study. If you want to know something, look it up. My grandmother was an avid reader. She read her Bible with concordances around her. Anytime she wanted to know something, you could see my grandmother with a book open reading. And for a person of her age, that was important to her. I like to read. It's important to me. And the thing that is most necessary is that you learn to think of yourself as a person, not a brown person or a white person. You're a person. You decide what you want to do. You look at it. You determine what makes you feel good. What do you enjoy? And then you apply yourself to that. So when you go into anything, you go in with a sense of security in yourself that I'm going here because this is what I want to do. And I can do this. And the more I be comfortable with me as a person as opposed to a brown person or not something else, I'm more comfortable going into an unknown situation, unfamiliar. With FirstHealth, it has helped me to apply that principle to what I do every day. Being the only person of color in that kind of position, you are of course exposed to people different who look differently than you, but your job requires that you work with these people, and you have to do it in such a way that you're confident that you can accomplish what your tasks are, but you accomplish it with a sense of respect. At FirstHealth, I've been given the opportunity to have a position where, when I came 22 years ago, there was only one other African American in that position besides myself. And I wasn't afraid of it. I happened to have been given the opportunity by a director of a department who, like me, was a country girl, essentially. She just happened to be white, and I was not. But we had a like personality about people, because we just treated people as just people. It didn't matter. I grew to be comfortable with who I was, and she and I blended in such a way that we would laugh at each other's craziness. But she gave me an opportunity, and then, knowing that there were some things that I didn't know because I shared with her in our interview, she said, if you can do this, I'll teach you this. And she made it a point, the 15 years we worked together, to teach me things. She would say, Miss Tessie, how would you like to? And I would respond, if you show me how. And she said, I thought you'd say that. And then we would get into doing some things. And after she retired, I was able to help my department in crucial times with some things that she had taken the time to teach me. The experience in Washington was actually a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing for a kid to have as a memory and then relate back to it when everything that happens the rest of your life is good. From 15 to 73, I've had a lot of good memories of that day to share with good new memories, if that makes sense. Because nothing that I've done, even having the privilege of being a mother, has meant more than being able to compare those experiences and then share them with her. Life is made up of experiences, I have decided, and it's the great moments like that that give the little times so much more meaning, because it just makes it special. It just says, you know, I've enjoyed learning, even though some lessons have been hard. I've enjoyed the lessons that I've had to learn, because one lesson helps me deal with other things better. And I think the stimulation of that day has helped me learn so many more things easier, because I can relate what we didn't have to where we are now. If I could say one thing to Dr. King, it would be thank you for caring enough, for letting me know what it means to care for somebody else, to sacrifice yourself so somebody else can live better when your life is okay.